Staying in an Airbnb is supposed to be a more personal, cozy alternative to hotels. But what happens when that cozy getaway turns into a waking nightmare? Tonight, we're diving into 6 terrifying true Airbnb horror stories that will make you think twice before booking your next stay. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your thoughts below. And if you have a terrifying story to share, send it to the email in the description below to be featured in a future episode. Now, settle in, turn down the lights, because these are 6 scary, true Airbnb horror stories that might just make you cancel your next trip. Story 1 by Daniel. I was traveling solo through Colorado and booked a small, off-grid Airbnb in the mountains. It was advertised as a rustic cabin with no Wi-Fi or service, which sounded perfect for disconnecting. When I arrived, the host wasn't there, just a lockbox for the key and a note on the door that said, "Daniel, welcome home." That gave me chills. I hadn't told the host my name yet. Inside was cozy enough, but I couldn't shake the feeling that someone had just left. The bed was made, but warm. There was steam on the bathroom mirror. I searched the house, top to bottom. Nobody. That night, I was awakened by the sound of footsteps on the wooden porch outside. I got up and looked out the window, but saw nothing. Then I noticed the note on the door was gone. I locked the door, shut all the windows, and sat in silence for hours. Around 3 a.m., the front door handle started jiggling. I didn't sleep. I left at dawn, leaving the key on the table. When I got back into cell range, I texted the host. "Someone was outside the cabin last night. Did you come by?" The reply came hours later. "No, and no one should have your name. The note was not from me." Story 2 by Jenna. I booked a shared Airbnb with private rooms in Los Angeles. I was in town for a film internship and staying there for 2 weeks. The hosts were an older couple who seemed kind enough. A bit nosy, but kind. The weirdness started on night 3 when I found one of my bras hanging on the doorknob. I had packed it in my bag. I was sure of it. Then it escalated. Items began moving in my room. I'd wake up to find my suitcase unzipped or my notebook on the floor. I asked the hosts if they entered the room for cleaning, and they said, "No, we respect privacy here." One night, I couldn't sleep and went to the kitchen to get a glass of water. The living room TV was on, muted, playing the security cam feed from each room, including mine. My heart dropped. I watched as the footage showed me sleeping, tossing, turning. It even had a clip from when I was changing. I confronted the hosts. They denied it. I left that same night and reported the listing to Airbnb. The next morning, it was gone, deactivated. I don't know how many guests they recorded, or why. Story 3 by Ramon. My wife and I were celebrating our anniversary in a secluded lakeside Airbnb. The house was beautiful. Floor-to-ceiling windows, forest on all sides, and a private dock. That first night, we noticed a red, blinking light outside. We figured it was a trail cam or security device. But by the 3rd night, there were 3 of them, blinking from different directions. Then the sounds began. Branches cracking, soft whispering, knocks on the walls. We called the host. He said there were no cameras on the property and no neighbors within a mile. I asked him if he could come out. He said he was 2 hours away and it was probably deer. At 2 a.m., someone tried opening the back sliding door. It was locked. They moved to the side door, then the front. We hid in the bathroom with a kitchen knife and stayed there until sunrise. When we finally walked outside, we saw something written in the dirt just beneath the window. "You looked delicious." We packed and left. No refund, no explanation. If you're still watching, you've made it halfway through these terrifying true stories. Take a moment to hit the like button, subscribe, and comment below which story creeped you out most. And if you've ever had a nightmare Airbnb experience, or any unsettling story you want to share, send it to the email in the description below. Yours could be next. let's continue. Story 4 by Ellie. I stayed at an Airbnb in Atlanta during a business conference. The host left me a gift basket with snacks and a handwritten note. "Welcome, Ellie. Hope you rest well." It seemed sweet, until I realized the handwriting on the note matched a message I had received 2 months earlier on Instagram from a stranger who said, "I'm always watching. You'll rest well with me someday." I pulled up the message and compared the writing. Identical. The profile that sent the message had no followers and was deleted shortly after. That night, I heard a faint knock on the wall behind the headboard every hour. Exactly on the hour. I tried calling Airbnb, but the line kept dropping. The next morning, I left without saying a word. When I checked the listing a few days later, it had a new host picture of a man. I was sure the host was a woman. The message had been real, and whoever he was, he knew where I'd be. Story 5 by Lucas. While backpacking through Europe, I booked a cheap Airbnb in a quiet Romanian village. The room was in the basement. I know, bad move, but it was cheap. The host barely spoke English and just smiled when I asked questions. That night, I heard chains rattling from a locked door across the hall. I assumed it was plumbing, until I heard coughing. Then came the crying, a woman's voice, whispering in Romanian. I tried opening the door, but it was bolted shut. I went upstairs, and the host was gone. The whole house was dark. I left immediately. No refund. Later, I researched the address. The house had a history. It was previously owned by a man who was arrested for keeping women captive in the basement. That was just 5 years earlier. I don't know if it was a leftover spirit or if someone new was continuing the cycle. Story 6 by Kayla. I was attending a wedding in Vermont and booked a small guest house on a family AS property through Airbnb. They were kind, but distant. The listing said the property had been passed down for generations. The guest house was small but nice, filled with antique furniture. On the second night, I found a journal in the nightstand. It was written by someone named Kayla, my name. The entries were eerie. They mentioned being watched from the trees and dreaming of the house burning. The final entry said, "If you're reading this, it's already too late. Run." I confronted the family, but they just looked at each other. The grandmother finally said, "That house always finds another Kayla." I didn't stay the night. I left and never looked back. Airbnb has changed how we travel, but some places hold more than just memories. They hold secrets, shadows, and the things that refuse to leave. Which story unsettled you the most? Tell us in the comments. And if you have a terrifying story to share, send it to the email in the description below. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and remember, not every door should be opened.